Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. I wanted to go a little bit deeper into some of the concepts and ideas I have been introducing you to in my new book, Awakening Astrology, because these are new ways of looking at your chart. These are things that I have observed through working with thousands of clients and thousands of charts. And so this is the information, basically some of the takeaways that I've observed in these charts and how the energy can work and how it flows. And that's why I wanted to offer you these original interpretations here in my book so that you could basically open up to more of your energy and more of your chart and see things in a new way. So we're going to talk more in this video about your sun sign. And it's the first chapter where, we introduce the sun sign, and then it's on page 5 here where I share with you the 4 points of soul growth in your chart. And again, this is just what I've observed through working with many clients and having client sessions where we wanted to maneuver through the energy. Right? We wanted to see, okay, how can you see this differently? How can this shift for you? How can you approach it in a way that maybe feels more empowering, but you didn't see it before? So these 4 points of soul growth here, page 5, is basically describing what those 4 points are. But what I wanted to go into even more was more about the blind spot energy. Yes, I've mentioned it in previous videos, but I wanted to talk about it by the 4 elements here. Okay, so we're going to talk about it in terms of what element is your sun in, right? Your sun is either in fire, earth, air, or a water sign. And that's how I'm going to discuss this because it helps to understand it more and things can start to click. I'm like, oh, I didn't see it that way before. Or, oh, I didn't realize that. Now, I also am sharing this with you based on the premise that you have access to multiple energies in a chart, but there's some that are just more natural for you. It's literally feels like your home energy or just your natural expression of a planet or of some part of your life. But this is going into parts of yourself that maybe you didn't tap into or you haven't seen before. And the blind spot energy can help you with some of these things. So I call it your energetic blind spot, embodies qualities that are more difficult for you to access unless you have planets in that astrological sign. So we're going to start with the fire signs, okay? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. If you have your sun sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, your blind spot is always a water sign, the preceding water sign. The fascinating thing about astrology, one of the many, is that every astrological sign is very different from the one before it and the one after it. So if you have your sun in Aries, but you have planets in Pisces, then you're already aware of these blind spot energies. If you have planets in Leo and you have planets in Cancer, then you're probably aware of some of these blind spot energies. If your sun is in Sagittarius and you have some planets in Scorpio, then you're probably aware of some of the Scorpio energies. All right? So what you're looking at is the astrological sign before your sun sign. And the reason why I want to call this out is because of how the astrological wheel is a continual progression of energy. And we see it as a circle, typically, right? I mean, especially as in a book or on a screen, you see it as a circle. But energetically, it's a spiral. Spirals up. The energy continues to spiral up as you grow, as you learn, as you have new understandings, as your consciousness evolves. So what you're essentially becoming more conscious of is that blind spot energy before your sun sign that's going to be very different than what your sun naturally embodies, expresses, feels comfortable in, feels at home in. So for all of the fire signs, your blind spot is a water sign. Now, think about the differences between the fire energy, which is masculine, which is motivational, which is about progress, creation, inspiration. The fire signs are all about, getting things going and what can be created, and there's a lot of vitality in that energy. The blind spot energies of the water signs are going to move you back into a feminine expression that can soften and balance the masculine energies. And it's also going to actually, what can happen with the water signs is that you remove some of that, we'll call it armor, or some of that ego energy about, I have to do this, I have to make this happen, this has to keep moving. You move back and look at that blind spot of the water signs, which help tap you into not only the feminine energies, but the trust, allowing, being receptive. Maybe I don't have to force this. What does it mean to trust how I'm feeling and then take action? What does it mean to go into the parts of myself that aren't maybe so wrapped up in particular expectations and go into the allowing of the water signs? So that can be something that you consciously work with. When that fire energy gets too big, too explosive, too hot to handle, if you temper it with the water sign, it will help maybe even calm and relax the energy a bit. So that would be an example for the sun in fire signs and how the blind spot of the water signs can help you energetically tap into deeper understanding of yourself. So the next element in the astrological wheel is always the earth signs. So the earth signs, grounded, practical, very much aware of the senses, and what you see is what you get, very clear on what's happening in the real world, boundaries, responsibilities, taking things for what they are. But sometimes the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, can be stuck. Earth signs, rocks, boulders, many beautiful parts of our earth, right? But also, where's the movement? Is there stagnation? Is there a sense of life force? So the earth signs would tap into the blind spot energy of the fire signs. And the earth signs tapping into that blind spot energy reminds you why you're doing something. Like, what's the inspiration here? What's the motivation? Look at where you can take action. Sometimes the earth signs can be world weary and almost go into this like, I don't know how this is going to happen. Because the earth signs are wonderful at looking at the how. What's the process? What things need to come together? How is this going to work? How is this going to work? And that's something that the earth signs are very tuned into. But when you go back to the blind spot energy of the fire signs, you're going to tap into the movement, that you can move something forward and basically get that zest of life or that spark or that inspiration from the fire sign consciousness. So then after the earth sign, we move into the air signs. The air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. The air signs are wonderful at communicating, sharing, socializing, interacting. Can be great at taking in information, very intellectual or studious. Really good at understanding, ideas and concepts and what you want to make or create in a way that really brings you life. Because the air signs too have so many things active in the mind, and also there can be a sense of you're drawn to certain concepts and ideas, and what do you do with it? Well, one of the things with the air signs is that sometimes it can just all be talk. Nothing happens. Or you can have all these ideas and you're like, but I don't know what to do with them. So for the air signs, you are going to access the blind spot energy of the earth signs, which is pulling on the strength, tapping into the strength of the earth signs, and that's going to show you how to make something real. The earth signs can show you how to bring it into fruition, what you need to do, what resources you need, what is essential, what's necessary. So the earth signs can give the air signs structure, a foundation, literally the supplies to bring it together, where it's not just an idea or something you're talking about, you're bringing it into fruition because of the strength of the earth signs. And that would be the blind spot. Okay, so the air signs, if your sun is in an air sign, your blind spot is the earth sign, where again, you could feel like you don't know how to make something real. How do I make my ideas tangible? How do I put this into a book? How do I create something with all this information I have? And the earth signs can help you ground in your ideas. Then we have the final element, which is water. The water signs are always after the air signs. The water signs being Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And the water signs being about what you're feeling and sensing, how you are designed to move through life in a way based on the stimuli you're sensing and trusting yourself. A lot of the sun signs in a water placement are activating more within your intuition and trusting how you're sensing an environment, what you're feeling, what you're picking up, as well as how to manage that part of your world and that part of your experience. Now, sometimes the water signs, though, can be very subjective, very much all in your feelings, all in what's happening. You can lack that detachment. So your blind spot is in the strength of the air signs. And the air signs want you to talk it out, share it. Don't keep it inside. Open up, write it out, express it. What can you do to move the energy that you're feeling or the energy from your private world and do something with it? And the blind spot from the air signs is also going to bring you objectivity, where the more you're in conversation with others about what you're feeling and what's going on, you're going to hear other ways of viewing a situation. Sometimes the water signs, you take things personally, right? Because you feel the energy maybe at a personal level. But the air signs are going to help you detach and be like, oh, that happens for everybody. Oh yeah, that's really common. Or, oh yeah, this is what my perception is. Or this is what I heard in that version of your story. The air signs get the energy moving, but they also bring in something around detaching, being able to communicate and open up, and make sure that you're not keeping everything inside. So these are just general understandings, of course, but this is where tapping into that blind spot energy can balance you in a way, meaning it can give you that other energy point. So as we've discussed, every astrological sign is different from the one before it and the one after it. And so this means they also rotate in feminine and masculine energies. So as I described with the fire signs that can be very masculine, when you go back to the blind spot energy of a water sign, it's feminine, it's gonna soften you, right? So then when you have the energy of a sun sign in an earth sign, which is feminine, the blind spot is a fire sign. The fire sign being masculine is going to strengthen whatever that desire is or what you want to move forward and give you the sense of self to do so. Air signs are masculine. Then you go to the blind spot of the earth sign, feminine. It's going to ground you, bring in that practical component, make it simple as well. Because the air signs can make things very complicated and almost, check in and see, do you have that monkey mind with the air signs? But the earth signs are feminine and they want to make it simple and simplify. The earth signs will simplify the complexities of the air signs. And then finally, we have the water signs, which are feminine. And as I described, they are designed to be open, receptive, aware of the environment. But the blind spot energy of the air signs are going to help you step back, detach, get stronger in that masculine energy of, well, what do I really think about this? What do I really have to say? So it's this beautiful rhythm and patterns in the zodiac that we get to use, we get to play with, experiment with, that can continue to expand our energy and continue to help us understand more of how to make the most of our energies in this lifetime. So that, I hope, helps give you more on what the blind spot energies offer you. And of course, I talk about each of the sun signs in here, and this book is designed to be referenced on and on. I mean, I have friends who have referenced the book for each of their kids and have gone through and been like, okay, my son has his sun sign in Capricorn. That means his blind spot is Sagittarius. And you can use this to like understand your kids more and what they're learning, as well as other people in your life. So I wanted to offer a bit more here and help you understand more of these concepts, because again, they're new concepts. Like this is just what I've observed through years of being in this astrological world, of other ways to connect the dots, to work with your energy, and to see what you have access to that maybe you didn't notice before. So I'll be back with more in this new series I'm doing. I'm considering these basically workshops where, you know, you have the book and you follow along, and I offer you more than what is shared in the book, but gives you more of an understanding of what to do with this information and how to make it useful for you. So thank you so much for joining me. I will be back with another video very soon. In the meantime, please check out the book. Again, I hope it really helps you dive in to more things in your chart that maybe you just didn't notice before, but they're waiting for you. They're waiting for you to discover them. Thank you so much for your comments, your likes and subscribes, and I'll be back here soon with another video for you.